Okay, let's talk about the election of 1988. Now, the election of 1988, first thing you need to understand is Reagan is super popular going to the election of 1988. His approval rating leading up to the election was about 60%, which is a very high approval rating, considering the last number of presidents. Their average approval rating has been in the 40s, high 40s to mid 50s. So Reagan is going to be very popular going into the election. That's going to lead to the popularity of George H.W. Bush, who is Reagan's vice president. Bush can kind of give the argument, if you like the direction the country is going, you like what Reagan's doing, you might as well just pick me. I'm the natural successor. I've been working with Reagan for the last 8 years. You might as well move on with me. Also, the Cold War is beginning to wind down at this time period. The Soviet Union is failing, and it is very well known that they are beginning to fail at this time period. So this is going to lead to the tensions going down a little bit right here, and this is also looking good for Reagan because when he came in 1980, that was simply not the case. We got the Soviet invasion of Afghanistan previously, 1979. The Soviet Union is looking a lot stronger at that time period. Now, just 8 years later, the Cold War is starting to wind down and the Soviet Union is failing. So Reagan's popularity is going to really help Bush moving into the elections. In 1986, the Democrats are going to gain control of the Senate. Now, this is going to be as a result of the Iran-Contra affair, which has already been talked about. Now, the Democrats are going to look at the election in 1988, and they're going to think they have the real possibility of winning. The Iran-Contra affair, which was Reagan, is going to come back and hurt Reagan and is going to hurt Republicans because Reagan is a Republican. So they're going to be seeing this going on in 1986. They're going to think that 2 years later, they've got a good chance of winning, especially if they can play up the Iran-Contra affair that dogged the Reagan administration. Bush was a part of that Reagan administration. Therefore, we can connect Bush to the Iran-Contra affair and hopefully win back the White House, which the Democrats had not had since Carter in 1980. Now, we're going to have this compassionate conservatism come about at this time period, which is Bush's kind of brand of conservatism. He's going to be different than Reagan in that regard. Remember previously when we talked about the election of 1980, how Reagan was much more conservative. Bush was kind of more middle of the road, moderate, and he's going to be using his compassionate conservatism, which is talking about that, which is where you're using conservative techniques and concepts to improve the general welfare of society. So you're going to be a conservative and you're going to be using these to improve society and make everyone's life better. That's really what compassionate conservatism is all about, and Bush is going to capitalize upon that. Additionally, at this time period, Bush is going to talk about his 1,000 points of light. This is where he's talking about representing all that is good about America. Keep America moving forward, always forward, for a better America, for an endless, enduring dream, and 1,000 points of light. Okay, so we can see right here, this is going to be Bush's kind of talking point, and it's a real sign of hope. Keep moving America in the right direction. Reagan has done this for the last 8 years. Let's keep this moving with me. On the Democratic side, we're going to get Michael Dukakis. Now, Michael Dukakis is the governor of Massachusetts, and he is labeled as a liberal. He labeled himself as a liberal. He's going to take a number of different very liberal stances coming into this election. For example, he's going to ask the question about whether or not you support the death penalty. Liberals traditionally do not support the death penalty, and he's going to state that no, he would not support the death penalty. And then one of the reporters is going to ask him, if your wife was raped and murdered, would you support the death penalty for that individual? And Michael Dukakis is going to go off on a long series, really kind of a long answer, where he's saying, well, I don't know about this, and this. And he didn't simply say yes. He really didn't play to the electorate very well. And Republicans are going to hit him hard on this one. How would you not support being tough on crime when someone's going to do that to your wife? They're going to basically say that he's weak on crime, and that he's one of these individuals we cannot trust. Bush is seen as tough on crime. Remember, he was the former director of the CIA. He is more of a conservative. He's in favor of the death penalty and these different things. And he's going to be a lot easier for Bush to point out he's being tough on crime. Additionally, the Reagan administration is really going to ramp up the war on drugs. The Just Say No campaign of Nancy Reagan. Bush, being a part of that administration, can kind of tag onto Reagan's coattails right through here. And he's going to keep going with that. Additionally, we're going to have Dukakis' furlough program, which is going to come back to really hurt Dukakis during this election. We're going to have the instance of Willie Horton. Now, Willie Horton was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole for murder. He's in Massachusetts. Massachusetts is going to have a weekend furlough program. for individuals who have had good behavior. This is a program set up kind of to give an incentive for individuals to behave better within the prison system. If they do this, they get to go out on the weekend. Now, Willie Horton is going to leave on the weekend. He's not going to return as he was supposed to do. He's later going to commit assault, armed robbery, and rape before being recaptured. You can see Willie Horton right here. Now, the Bush campaign is going to use this to really hurt Dukakis. And this is an example of dog whistle politics. And this is a term you really want to know. Dog whistle politics is where you're going to be appealing to racism without expressly stating it. Okay, and this is an example of that. They're going to take this mugshot right here, appeal to the racial undertones of Willie Horton, going out committing assault, robbery, and rape, all because of a program that Dukakis, as governor of Massachusetts, was overseeing. So you don't want this. You can't vote for Dukakis. Now, dog whistle politics is going to play a large role, as I was already stating, so make sure you understand that right here. In the election, Bush is going to win easily. Okay, Dukakis is seen as far too liberal for the mainstream majority of the United States. Bush is more of a moderate. Again, Reagan is doing very well at this time period, and Bush is going to ride off of that, and Bush will win easily. As you can see here with the electoral map, okay, 426 electoral votes for Bush, 111 for Dukakis. Okay, so he's not even going to carry some of the traditionally liberal states that you can see coming in right here. States like Vermont, okay, parts of Maine, Connecticut. So Dukakis is really going to be in a lot of trouble because he is seen as too far left to really win in the mainstream election. That is all for now. Questions, comments, put it below. Otherwise, I'll see you later. Good luck.